we are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. And we'll have warfare. The only way you can prevent me in this 50 or is to kill me. And you kill me, I'll kill you.
It is Tuesday, the 19th of August 2014. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And this is our Unpenned Show. For those that have never heard us before, thank you for finding us. It's called Unpenned because it is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't write any prescription for this, do we?
Nope.
We don't prepare anything. We have a little chat before, and the hour that we have before we start the show is usually the best show that we don't record.
The show, yeah.
Because what we actually do is, Andy and I have been friends now for a good 6-7 years. We found each other because of a DVD I was playing in my shop. I've got a fish and chip shop in North Yorkshire. We're right in the middle of the UK. Not the middle of England, but in the middle of the UK. If you look at the top of Scotland and the bottom or the tip or Southampton, Portsmouth type area, pretty much halfway between those two areas is where we are, within about 10 or 11 miles. North Yorkshire. Not the most rebellious part of the world. Historically, it's been more rebellious than it is today.
Historically, it has, yes.
Historically, we've had a little bit more nonce about us to actually, or noose about us to actually figure that things ain't going our way and we should start asking why is. But we're not why is enough to actually work that out yet, are we?
No,
because we live in a
not.
part of the world that still isn't feeling the full effects of what is coming. We only have to travel north, east, south or west. We go north to Middlesbrough, east towards Hull, west towards the northwest, and we can find plenty of parts of Leeds that resemble the new third world countries. Boarded up shops, streets you don't go down, and places where the police don't bother sort of answering the calls. And these things are available all around us, but here in North Yorkshire we don't see it, so we don't truly believe it, and we think it'll never ever affect us. Maybe it won't in our lifetimes. Maybe the blanket Armageddon that everybody is almost wishing upon the world. Most religions are constantly prepared for the coming of the end times. And the truth movement, or the alternative truth movement, or the people who think the truth is something that they've got at this moment in time, they're doing exactly the same thing. They're preparing all their followers for the end of the world. It's a shame that we can't see that this program is universal. It works on all types of idiots, and it's been going for quite some time.
And all religious spectrums cover it as well,
absolutely.
Don't they?
And if you can just pay us in any denomination you like that we can spend, because the thing about religion is it's an expensive business. So we'll tell you about the demons and horrors of money, and if you could just give us a little bit, that'll keep us all going till next week. So have a good week till next week, because next week we'll resell you some more. Okay? You see, you think the word resell is the word wrestle, and the word wrestle is the word resell. Wrestle is the boxing match that you don't see you taking part in. the churches that we go to, the altars that we worship, they're there to alter us. And we know that religion got into bed with politics because religion was starting to lose its grip on people, because where people weren't really believing in the guy with the beard sat in the clouds who was looking down at his populations, and he loved everyone unless you didn't do as you were bloody told. Then you had to go to a place called hell. That was an unforgiving, dark place that would burn your life. It would burn you to death. You never escaped, but he loved you unless you did as you're told, unless, you know. He'll love you as long as you do as you're told, and that is the authoritarian system that you've lived in your entire life. We are, for those that still watch YouTube and actually think Facebook has some value to your life, God bless you, it doesn't. I actually fell for the YouTube trick again tonight. I lost 17 minutes of my life. 17 minutes of my life that I can't get back. And the reason that I did it is because I hoped something had changed. Yes. I hoped something. And the Freeman movement, I always want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I know some of the things that they talk to you about do have value. And I always want to give them the benefit, and you know, are they teaching me things that have value in my life? 17 minutes I gave away tonight to a post by the Witch of Gaia, whatever Kate, you know the one I'm talking about. You know, guy, girl, you decide. Anyway, the witches and the covens from the Witch of Gaia, okay, they're supporting a guy called, you ready for his name? You ready for his name? Strawberry. And this guy called Strawberry, right? 17-minute video. And he really, truly is absolutely lost. He is a dinghy, going round and round in circles, lost at sea. He really does think, through indoctrination of the stupid, because that's what they are, they really do think that they can make a video, and it goes like this. He's driving a car with no MOT, no insurance, it's not registered, it's not insured, and he won't give the policeman his name. And his passengers, along with him, claim the policeman's breaking the law. Now I understand that the Freeman gang will tell me, and let me tell you why the policeman's breaking the law. Because they still think the world travels backwards. They have no idea that the world cannot, will not, never has, and even in the language that we use, you cannot go backwards. If you try and go backwards one day from now, what is the day before today called?
Yesterday.
That's not saying the day before, is it? Try it again. Say it again.
Yesterday.
You see, you can't get away from it, can you? You can't escape.
No.
You're trying to say the day before now, but you can't, because it's yesterday. It doesn't change.
It doesn't.
It's always today.
It is.
We can have tomorrow rowing, because rowing is what we do, because we're all part of the ship of state. Now, tomorrow rowing or tomorrow rowing, it's up to you. But you can't go backwards to the day before this one, because it's always today. Any other time is the future or the past. The past cannot be changed, and the future can be created. It's always yesterday.
It is.
Too stupid to figure it. And the arguments they were putting up because they claimed the police was breaking the law. He's doing his job. They said that at the that those trials, you know what they called those trials after the Second World War? What were they called? Do you remember? Anyway, they said they were just doing the job. This guy called Strawberry, right? He claims that he will take responsibility for his own actions. He doesn't need insurance because, should he have an accident, he will sit down with the third party, or the party that has been harmed. This do no harm, like he's just getting out of hand, isn't he? He'll sit down with the party that's been harmed, and he'll come to an agreement that won't require courts or insurance. Really. So how much does it cost if you kill somebody? How much does it cost, Mr. Strawberry? Yeah, how much does it cost, okay? Because if you ran over my little girl, and you came to me and said, I don't have insurance, but I'd like to sit down, and I'd like to make amends for the harm that I've done. No, it's no harm. No. This is willful negligence. This is you knew in full, clear daylight what you were doing. And now I don't know how a human life can have a price on it.
No.
Well, I'll give you $5 a week because I'm just a musician. How's that?
And it's not always the money.
But he can't pay.
No. Yeah.
The reason why he doesn't have insurance,
Exactly.
he doesn't have MOT,
No MOT,
he doesn't
no
have
insurance.
current tax, is because
He's got no money.
he can't bloody afford it. He's broken.
Yep.
He's broken. But he won't admit it.
No.
Because he's spent 30 minutes listening to somebody else who he doesn't know, who won't save him, who can never help him, and who has never successfully won anything. He's listened to that person and thought, this is my world. This is my land. And I shall rightfully claim it. This is DreamWorks, isn't it? This is a guy who hasn't a clue who he is or how he bloody got here.
No.
Historically, land is taken by force.
Yes.
And it's not changed. Those that have the
hasn't.
biggest forces say, I'm having it, and what you going to do about it? Just like this country was. Taken by force.
Yep.
Ruled by force. Is it right? It doesn't matter. It is. That's how it works. We have a whole host of people who, after a brief time on YouTube and Facebook, think the world is going to turn and circle for them. They don't realise, at the very bottom, they're the test subjects. For what shit will you believe? What shit can we get you guys to believe?
And I've trawled through it. I've looked at it. I've studied
And
this, that, and the other.
and we've sat with these
We
people,
have.
haven't we?
We've
And did you feel comfortable?
no,
Did you feel part of that gang?
no, because I didn't fit in at all because
But we're all one.
I was working.
But we're all
Yeah.
one. You see,
Everybody
the problem
else
is
wasn't working.
they didn't like us, did they?
No,
Because we weren't like them.
no,
We didn't have their troubles.
no,
We didn't have their way of dealing with things.
no.
And guess what? We were wrong.
Yeah,
We were wrong.
we were the posh. We were the posh people.
You
from
don't have to
Ripon.
worry. You're from Ripon now. I'll
Yeah.
get you a lot.
Yeah, you've what the answer was? You've loads of money, you, from up there.
Honest to God, these are people who are looking to unite and combine and save the world,
Yeah.
right? And they didn't like us because we weren't like them.
No.
It is ridiculous, isn't it? It's beyond embarrassment. Every time I look back at where I've been, what I always thought I was meeting people who knew more than me, and they did, about their specialist subject. But it had no value.
No.
See, where do you and I belong, my friend? Because we don't belong with those that think there's a free lunch here somewhere.
No, not anymore.
And we don't support the future that has been laid out for us, because it's not going to work out for an awful lot of us. And they say, how do you know? So because it's not working out for an awful lot of us. Many people think I'm picking on the people at the bottom, but I'm not. I'm not really. But if you think I am, then take it that I am, but I'm not really. You're either a year or two into this, or you're a good 10 years in. If you're a year or two into this, you've got a chance of getting out and moving along, because this isn't what it's all about. If you're 10 years in, you're lost to the world.
Yeah.
Because the real truth, and I don't claim to have truth about much, but the real truth, as I see it so far, and if something should be introduced to me tomorrow that changes what I know today, I won't try and change what's introduced. I'll change what I know. How many times have we said, I'd like to be wrong? I'd like to sit
We have.
in conversation with somebody who says, let me tell you something that you've got wrong there. And let me tell you why it's wrong. And I'll say, I've been looking for someone to speak to me like this for a long time. Now, remember, I'm not guaranteed to believe you, but please tell me why I'm wrong. And then do me the courtesy of reply. And if I don't agree with you, don't get upset. Because I shall be checking your evidence to see if it's actually proof or if it's just something you've heard. Because I see people wandering around like the cattle we're meant to be, flocking to hear what somebody's heard. This is a disaster. The truth, as I understand it today, is that you cannot possibly help anybody else until you've actually saved yourself. And you say, yeah, I can. See, I know you can in your head, but I'm not going to agree with what you're going to say next. Because every decision that you make is based on a favourable outcome for you. So that'll be the cherry picker that you've used to collate the information that makes you think the way you do. It's not that you'll ever know or admit or actually be wrong. It's just that you have to understand that you will cherry pick the information that is most likely to improve your life circumstance. And you will happily share that with somebody, but you will not always give them what you always have, because you do not want them to beat you in this race. And that's been the way of the trade for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You and I have spoke about this. Men with trades have not always been happy to watch those without learn their skill. It hasn't changed, really. So people might say, so what are you doing it for? So I'll ask you, what do you do this for?
For me, it helps me. And it makes you realise things of the position of where we are at the moment. I don't see things really changing for the better until
The people do.
And the people that don't want it to change, and the people that don't want it to change at the moment are the doctors, professors of universities, chiefs of police, lawyers. Now,
anybody that's got a good position on the payroll.
Exactly.
Now, they might disagree with it, but only in small circles.
Exactly. When it's going to
the
affect
truth
them.
can only be spoken in quiet whispers, in small circles, because they're invested. And if they get struck off, lose their license, they cannot maintain that lifestyle. This is the blackmail. This is the deal that they've done. They're sucking off the government tit that we fill. The worst can be seen as the bankers. And written over 140, 150 years ago, at some point, the people are going to actually go up against the banks. Luckily, the governments do all they can to stop us. And we are too far gone to actually really understand how the money system works. And yet, it's that ignorance. And I find now, and I find it too uncomfortable to actually see this. People can say to me, if I try and engage them in conversation, they'll say, I don't care, and I don't care to know. It's like a badge of honour. The actual ignorance is, I don't care and I don't care to know, so don't bother me with what you have to say. Somehow that's designed to make me feel like I've lost. Because in their head, I just have. How much lower do you think we're going to go? We do this because we don't fit anywhere else, do we?
No.
We don't fit in the future because we're too old and we're not happy with the changes that are lined up for us. But we don't fit with the other side because we don't agree with them.
No.
I don't agree with the majority of them. Too many are into the stories.
Yeah.
The reason why we're not popular, and I'm happy about it, is because we don't play the storyteller game.
No.
The stories can be, they come thick and fast on the internet because everybody has a story to tell. And on the internet, it's free to publish it. Everybody can publish it, post it, share it, and copy it. But the truth is, if you really had an important story to tell, maybe you'd be doing what we're doing now. Or maybe you'd be painting something. Or maybe you'd be writing something. Or maybe you'd be making a film or a documentary. The reason why you're not doing any of those things is because you don't have a story to tell. So you go on the internet and you cherry pick the things that you think might make you look smart, intelligent, and maybe improve your life, and you plagiarize it.
Mm-hmm.
You copy it. You say, I'm having that, and you put it on your Facebook page. And you want people to go, oh, I like that. And somehow, just like the football supporter who sits at home and watches his team, when his team wins, he feels like he's won. And when someone presses like on your Facebook, you think, oh, well done me. Well done me. It's like a little pat on the head, isn't it? Well done me. I found that story first. It's usually about Gaza, Jimmy Savile or Cliff Richard. Okay? I am tempted to write under every Gaza post. So what you gonna do about it?
Mm.
What you gonna do about it? But I realise that Facebook is the fully padded, lined illusion of a boxing match, where nobody really gets hurt except their egos, and unfortunately, they're easily hurt. Sticks and Stones went a long time ago, didn't they?
It certainly did, yeah.
Am I having a go at... Yes, I am. Yeah, I am, yeah. Yeah, I am. I think that we're entering the languid age. And the word languid is the word weak. And this is the weak age. And anybody who's, watched something like... what can I think of a film that talks about ages? Zeitgeist. There's the recognition of the word age in there. And age is a length of time, or a numerical. It's always a numerical. And age is always a number to indicate a length of time. And we're told that ages are approximately 2,160 years. And if we believe the religious programming, then we're actually coming out of this age, and we're due to move into the next age, which is Aquarius, which is the heralding of the springtime, as it were. But unfortunately, we seem to travel backwards in this calendar,
Yes.
which is quite strange. But Aries is the water carrier, the bringer of the springtime, apparently, and he's carrying a pitcher of water which he's pouring out. So we could say that's an allegory of the money.
Yeah.
And that's
Empty in the bucket.
empty in the bucket. We could say that, but I don't really get tied up with that, because then you get into the mythical fairy stories, and those are for children.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of them
Children
like
they
it,
are.
and I know a lot like it, and it's not for me to spoil it for them. You know, if they still think Father Christmas exists, if they still think the legends are there to return and save them, then that's absolutely fine. Just don't bother with me, really. I'm way past that stuff. But I've lost my train of thought, as I usually do. The age, and we do live in an age, and the word age comes in lots of guises, doesn't it? We've described it as the storage, and we know the word. It is the word. It is at this time it's a storage, but maybe it always is a storage, and that is who can store the most can dictate the price.
Yeah.
And you know the supermarkets currently are dictating prices. You know, we don't see it, but those that can stock and store, that can buy the most, they control the markets as such. We've talked this about the massage, you know, the mass age.
Yeah.
You know, if you put mass age together, the masses, this is the mass age, and then you put that's massage. Well, do they need us?
Yes.
Are we their bread? Are we born and bred?
Yeah.
Do we rise and fall?
We certainly do.
Do we have to be proven?
We've proven, yeah.
So
Got to prove everything.
It's an interesting language, isn't it? You know, it's built upon observation, and we've observed it, and we do observe it, and we see how it connects together. And like everything else, if it's not connected up properly, it won't work properly. And our refusal to accept that the witches and wizards, through the magic of programming, the language itself, have got us to actually do their, abide by their will.
Yeah.
They have created a world of rules.
And domesticated through the word see. Put the word see in front of age, you've got cage.
Good lad. And to be smart is sage.
Yeah.
The language is built with a decode that you and I are starting to understand.
We are, yeah.
That most people dismiss.
Slowly picking
And
it
doesn't
to
that show
bits.
you how clever it is? That, that doesn't mean... Without the language decode, would you have got any depth? Would you actually have any depth of understanding of how the world works? Without the language decode, would you have enjoyed your first trip to the cinema on Saturday night?
No.
You tell me why.
You
tell me what that language decode did that
Yes.
without it you would have missed.
Oh, I would have totally missed it. And the people that we were sat watching the film with, I could tell by their laughter that they were missing. They were laughing at the prompts. But yeah, we went out. My wife and I went out Saturday evening. We missed a birthday on Sunday because of the weather. It was just terrible. It just poured it down. So we decided we'd go out this Saturday and celebrate a birthday. So we went to the local pictures. Thought we'll give our money to the local.
And it's a little local independent, isn't it? It's not one of the big chains.
No,
it's a local independent.
Curzon Cinema.
And they've only got about 5 or 6, haven't they?
They have, yes, yeah.
And they've chosen Ripon as
And
one of
they
their
chose
sites.
Ripon.
And they've invested an awful lot of money. And you know what? Embarrassingly, I've not yet been.
And I hadn't been, but we decided we'd go, and we went to see Hector, The Search for Happiness, a Simon Pegg film, and he stars in it. I don't know whether he's helped write it, but, or the screenplay, but it was from a French. I noticed through the credits, a French book, a French author. But yes, the analogies that hit you when you go in, you go into the cinema. You're in it's in a darkened, just bright enough so you can see where your seats are, and of course you go across the concourse to get to your seats, and your seats are all in tiers.
Or rows.
And rows.
Or lines.
Rows and tiers as they go. And you sit down and you find your seat, and then you wait for the lights to go out. And as the lights go out and you're plunged into darkness...
The anticipation.
Yes. The silver screen lights up.
Because it's the moon.
Silver screen, and it's
the moon as such, isn't it? It's the nighttime screen.
Yeah, screening everything to you. Screening everything to your field of vision. And your eyes light up because you're drawn to the light. The light and all the adverts. It made me laugh that Pearl and Dean was there. We've got that clip. We've played it in a few clips before.
I'll find it.
And it's never... That music hasn't... I said to my wife, God, that music hasn't changed for years. I remember going when I were a little kid and you'd get your Kiora Orange and your tub of ice cream. None of that anymore, though. No intermission. All the adverts are done at the front, and all the adverts started with some kind of light in them. Whether it be sunlight or a light coming on.
Which usually can be glimmering off the sea, it can be a lighthouse. Yes. I mean, look at the DreamWorks. Have you ever pictured DreamWorks?
Yes.
DreamWorks, it says DreamWorks.
DreamWorks.
And there's a young boy sat on the moon fishing.
Of the end of the moon fishing, yeah.
And think, what the hell does that mean? But we know what it means.
And you can see you can see the line, and it's making into the pool below him, hasn't it? And it's made ripples on the pond, and there's the above so below.
It's always red and blue. It's always reds
That's
and blues.
so
Always
below.
reds and blues.
Yeah.
Then the side lights used to go out. The last lights, didn't they?
They did, yes.
The final lights and the projector starts.
It does, yes.
I mean, in today's modern world, I'm sure it's a little bit different. We've spoken about this before, but the actual modern-day cinema, or at least one that we went to when we were little, is a perfect representation of what happens outside.
Yeah.
With the sun being the projector, the moving images being the life in front of you.
Yeah, the life, creating the life force.
That's right. It's actually that's the light. This is the moving images. The film is the coating on the outside of the windows of your world.
Yes.
You know, the windows of the world. That's your eyes. Your eyes aren't separate. They're part of your brain. This is just your brain extending so you can see. Your eyes are nothing but a receptor. Your eyes don't see. Your brain sees.
And it sees it upside down.
Yeah, well, it doesn't initially. It flips it up. It does see it upside. I apologise.
Yes.
Look at a spoon. Yeah. Look at the way your eyes actually are. Not the concave. The
convex.
Convex. And look at the back of a spoon and realise what you're getting through your eyes. But with the focus and the lens Okay, the cones pick it up. Okay, turn it into...
Flip it.
Yeah, turn it into a picture, then flip it.
Yeah.
And the picture plays at the back of your head. And the picture house is just the same. It's a brilliant representation. And I think, actually, that the world we live in and the things that we live with have been controlled to be that way. We cannot envision what other things could exist, because everything that I see represents what is already seen. What already exists, we copy. I've said this a number of times, but I can't stress how really important it is to perhaps grasp this. We're all copiers.
We are.
All of us. And people say, well, you do copy. If you're not careful, you were born a copy.
Yes, you create copies.
You'll end up being a copy of your mum and dad. You don't have to be. But the chances are, if you're not aware of how this works,
you will be.
You will be a copy of your mum and dad. Now, we know in nature doesn't ask us to be a copy.
No.
Because Mother Nature codes us herself.
It does.
She gives us 3 coding marks, and those three coding marks are unique to that one person. And I know some people say, they're using the word person, which means they obviously don't know what person means. The truth is, you don't know what person means. You think it's some sort of legal fiction. It was in use a long time before then.
Yes.
You've got to learn how this character game is played. Okay, it's a legal fiction in the dictionary you're looking at. You think Black's Law Dictionary is some new Bible. You actually look spooky when you walk around with it. I'm sure Black's Law Dictionary are loving the amount of people who buy it.
The revival.
You know what I mean? Exactly. We haven't got this many solicitors in the country. How many people are buying this?
I think they're working on the 18th edition, aren't they? It's only in the 17th.
I've seen the 9th, I think. I fell for it.
Yeah.
Everything we talk about, you and I have usually fallen for. This is perhaps one thing that we do keep forgetting to mention. We know these things because we've done it.
Yeah.
We've done it. I've got Black's 9th in there. It cost me 65 bloody quid. I thought I was going to be... Anyway, this is the path, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And some things that we don't know until you know them, and then when you know them, you think, oh God, yeah, it's so obvious. I heard people telling me all the time, but I didn't understand it.
No.
And you realise that you do cherry pick. You just think, I've heard that before, but you didn't understand it.
No.
You heard it and you thought you understood it, and then you start as the depth, as you fathom the depth, you start to. I've heard people talking like this before, and I thought I knew what they were talking about. And at a childish sort of level, I did. And now I've learned a little more. I know there's a bit more to it. We've done it all. We're not worried about what people say. If you want a description of freedom, it is to really not worry about what people think about you, and what people say about you. And I don't think I've met anyone really who truly fits that description. I try to get as close as I can, but I've had very few personal attacks. So only when the personal attacks come and the lies are starting to spread, I'll have to see how I handle that. But I do know when I stopped caring what people thought about me, my life changed considerably. Really did change quite considerably. And to some extent, I think you possibly feel the same way.
Yeah.
Definitely. This individual, which is obviously 1 into 2. Individual is divided into 2. Internally divided into 2. You've got the name or the person you're, whatever it is you want to call yourself. You'll slow yourself down by tripping yourself up with the crazy words. That's the magic, idiot. Whoever you say you are, you'll be that person inside your house in the private show in the dress with rooms in. And on the outside, you'll be whoever and whichever stage character you want to be today. Whoever you want to be is who you'll portray that you are. Because portray it is what you're doing. You're just showing the world what you are. And if they aren't the same person on the inside as the outside, then you are. You still are one person split into 2. not two into one. The idea is to put yourself back together. You've been broken. This is the Humpty Dumpty thing. You've got to put yourself back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're not the same on the outside as you are on the inside, then you're exactly what they were hoping for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How could we ever get people to understand in one sentence that what you're scared of controls you, and what you're made to be scared of remote controls you? How can we ever really understand what people are thinking when they say, don't watch TV, don't read the newspapers, don't trust so-and-so, don't trust so-and-so, because they all tell lies? And then they say, see you next week.
Yeah. And ask yourself, who doesn't tell lies?
Exactly. Exactly.
Is
The
it
future,
you?
the future lies in front of us.
Yeah.
The past lies behind
Yes,
us.
Yes.
And you lie in bed.
You do, yeah.
We're a bunch of double crosses.
Where the truth lies.
Exactly. The truth. I mean,
Now you can go around in circles with that one for a long, long time.
but you see sentences with that in, don't you? You see the word lies everywhere. And you see allies, and you see belies, and then you think belief and belies, and it's got the word lie in it.
Yeah.
And it's because the world knows how it works. It's just we don't know how it works. We're told not to cross the line. We can never win the race. We'll never even be in the running because we're too lame.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taught to be lame.
Yeah.
Now, if you're lame, you can't run, you can't
No.
win, you can't race. Whether you like it or not, mobility is money, and money is time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, money is the buoyancy, it is the currency, it is the
Yeah,
you know, it
it's
makes
the ve-
things
it's
flow.
It's the very circulation.
It is, yeah.
The planet, and we can argue about people who make it, and we can argue how
We
it
can.
controls. And I'll agree with you.
Mm.
I'll agree with you that probably most of what you're going to say is right. And now what are you going to do about it?
Yes.
You see, because you keep trying to go back to a time that doesn't exist anymore.
Mm.
We have these rose-tinted spectacles about how we used to have in the 1950s, mum, dad and 2 kids and everything was perfect. We have a costume drama that is the 1800s. You know, we just do. It's not. We've never been bloody perfect.
No.
Never been perfect.
Look around. I see a lot of new faces. Shut up! Which means a lot of you have been breaking the first 2 rules of Fight Club. Man, I see in Fight Club the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential, and I see it squandered. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no great war, no great depression. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our great depression is our lives. We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. And we're very, very pissed off.
So, welcome back to the show. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And this is our Unpenned Show, the second part of our show, Tuesday, the 19th of August, 2014. I played the Fight Club clip because you might hear that it's trying to get you to fight.
Mm.
But the government, or the people in charge, or the elites, or the bankers, whatever you want to call them, they have the guard dogs in place. They want us to take them on because the people they've recruited, who are dressed like gladiators, there's nothing more they would relish than a chance to do what they've been trained to do.
Yeah. And they're working towards it, aren't they? Pushing a little bit each time.
Yeah.
It's like poking a
We very rarely, yes, well,
poking a wild animal.
yeah.
Sleeping or whatever.
Yeah.
Keep poking it enough times.
Yeah, listen at Facebook. You can poke on Facebook.
You can.
This
all
is
the
just,
stuff's
it's
there,
awful, isn't
it?
it?
It is.
It is awful that they know more about us.
They
I mean,
know more.
over the past 3 years, particularly, I've learnt more about the species that I live with, mostly about myself, than any other time. And although I still accept they know more about me and my kind than I'll ever learn, at least I accept that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know that I've been remote controlled. I know that I've been made this way.
Yeah.
And I know it's jolly hard to fight back and change.
It is hard to change.
It is hard to change because
you can change, but only little things.
Well, that's all you've
got
got the right.
Little things.
It's all we've got the right to change, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And the only thing we can change is who we meet and what we say.
Yeah.
Everything else is a personal change. I mean, if you're still using fluoride toothpaste and drinking unfiltered water, then well, then you're just pretending. I mean, just go away. You're just kidding yourself. I mean, kidding yourself. Well, listen to the word kidding. Just being childish. That's all it is. So go away. Go away. Leave me alone.
And that very clip in there, I've watched Fight. I saw the film Fight
Fight Club. Yeah.
Fight Club. Yeah, isn't it? And I didn't.
Well, this is Fight Book.
Fight Book. Yeah.
This is Fight Book over here.
But the two work very closely together because in Fight Club, he's schizophrenic, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
And you don't get that until towards the end of the film. And I remember watching it years ago, but now picking it out, the little bits, you realise that it's an internal... that guy was having an internal fight in his own head.
Spiritual war.
It's as he says,
the hijacking the spiritual war with the woo-woo stuff.
Exactly.
The woo-woo
with
stuff.
The fluffy,
it's back to the 1960s, same stuff.
Yeah, same
old.
old.
In the 1960s, I mean, the riots, particularly in America, were getting out of hand. So they turned it into a spiritual one.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
Let's all love each other.
And nothing's changed.
We said this 5 years ago at a meeting in Leeds.
Yeah.
It's a rerun of the 60s. At home. You don't have to go out anymore.
No.
You just do it at home.
No.
You're all one, sat alone. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And all this, we were talking earlier about these people that do sit home and have decided to get out of the system. I'm not in the system and I don't want to contribute to the system. That's all well and good, but haven't they won?
Yeah, of course they have.
They've won then. You've given up.
Yeah.
And you've got to ask for handouts, do it.
Yeah.
Is the new... And that's where I'm not going towards the Bitcoin thing because that's taking us into a total unreal world. Well, I can touch my money at the moment. I can hold it and I can feel it. And I can...
You can still spend it privately.
And I can... Yes, I can spend that at the moment without anybody knowing. With Bitcoin, they say you can. But there's nothing in there that can't be hacked.
There's nothing private on the internet.
There's nothing that
Let me tell you something, right?
Hacked.
Okay, my Skybox broke, all right? I've had it replaced yesterday. Right? Oh, he's got TV. Oh, get over yourself. If you haven't figured out that everything around you is trying to teach you what you need to know, then you haven't... It's so obvious, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Everything is screaming at you to work it out or lose.
Even radio for the CIA funding ISIS.
Work it out or lose. Work it out or lose. If you're too stupid, you'll lose. That's life. It's obvious now. The TV screams it at you, but you have to learn to decode it. The movies scream it at you even more than ever they did, but you have to learn to decode it.
Yeah.
The language is how they do it. You and I have decoded the language to a point that we see how it's been done. Can I teach you? No. Can I tell you? No. Have I told you the outlines of how to do it? Yes, many times. You have to see it for yourself. Every conversation is based on what you've seen. When you and I were first meeting on Tuesday nights and we were sort of learning as we were going, we still are now, but in the early days, we used to say, what have you seen? Didn't we? We used to ask you, what have you seen this week? And by that, what we meant was, with what we're learning, are we seeing it being played out in front of us? Because believing is not seeing. Seeing is believing. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You can know it, but you don't truly know it until you see it. Once you see it, you don't just know it. You actually believe it's true.
Yeah.
See, I can know that 3 and 3 is 6, but until I'm shown how it's 6 and why it's 6, and I see it for myself, Now, I believe 3 and 3 is 6. It's that little difference that cocks us up all the time, because we believe what we've heard and not what we've seen, because we're not taught to see. There's a little post on my Facebook which I quite like this. It says, the world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams. And by golly, that's true.
It is, yeah.
That is so true. How many people in the in the alternative movements do you hear saying what you've just said? Haven't they just beaten you?
Yeah, no, I've never heard anybody say that.
Aren't you the test case? Aren't you the ones that they experimented on first? Aren't you the ones that they told us much bad news to?
Yeah.
And then they gave you a way to beat them that you always fail with. Then they gave you some more ways to beat them that you always fail with. And you are the test case. We are the test case. And it's what can we get them to believe? And if they believe it, once we find the best way to get most of them to believe it, then we'll move it up a notch and tell it to the next lot, and tell it to the next lot, and tell it to the next lot. Because they'll be so busy trying to beat the systems we put in place for them to fight us that they can never win.
No.
The only way they'll ever be able to win is to turn away from this time-stealing machine called the internet and think for themselves.
Yeah.
And a moment to think for themselves will result in the message going a bit like this. Get up, stand up, provide for yourself, and move forward.
Move forward, yeah.
And anything else is illusion. You're on your bloody knees.
You are.
You're bloody begging. And you're sat with people who want to save the world. Begging.
And all wars are fought on intelligence, aren't they?
90% of a war is an information war.
And you've got to keep your intelligence from the other person, from your enemy. And what we do is give our enemy all the intelligence it needs.
The skybox that I've put in,
it's just
right?
crackers.
The old one that I took out, which was broken, they brought me a new one yesterday. I've already got a replacement box for it. The new one they brought, right? The engineer, chatted to him, 14 years in Army Communications. He had. I knew his Army straight away. He could spot him a mile off. I said, I'll look. Do you want a cup of tea? No, I'm busy. How long are you in the Army for? 14 years. So what do you do? Communications. I said, so you'll know a lot about these boxes. Well, I don't know about that. So he got the box out. He got this box out. Totally different to the other one. Black with a little box on top. And I said, that's totally different. I said, does it work like the other one? No, he said. I'm going to actually bring you into the 21st century. His very words. I'm going to bring you into the 21st century. He said, have you got a router? He said, have you got a router? I said, yeah, it's over there. So he pressed the top of the router. He went to the skybox. He married it up. It now works on Wi-Fi. I've got menus. I've got on-demand. I've got box series. I've got catch-up TV. I've got everything. Right, okay. Brilliant. And I said, these extra things that I've got, is it all coming through Wi-Fi? He said, yeah. So Sam sat here, bathed in Wi-Fi signals, having the time of my life. It's like being microwaved and laughing about it. And he said, would you like me to switch the Wi-Fi off? I said, yeah. And he said, you're the first customer that has ever asked me to switch it off.
I like it.
So I'm watching this box, right? And it's like an unwelcome house guest, right? And it's thinner, and it's black, and it looks more evil. And there's a little green light on it, okay? And it never stops bloody flickering.
Oh, God.
And you know what? I don't know if he's turned that Wi-Fi off.
No.
I don't know. So luckily, after asking yesterday, I have the old Skybox, another one that someone's given me.
All right.
So we can go back
to
the old Sky.
Yeah.
So it's getting changed back tomorrow. this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's now plugged into your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Which means that everything you do on your computer, it now is copying.
Yeah.
This is a game of copycats.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And
Yeah.
that little bloody green light is flicker, 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 flicker. And you think, it just looks like it's up to no good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just looks like it.
That's working really hard while you're not.
I'll tell you something. The future is low tech.
Yeah. Oh,
The
without
future
a
is
doubt.
wired in bloody phones,
Yeah.
stacked computers that you can take part by part out and replace it as it breaks. I've got stacked computers. I'm putting back a wired in phone again. I had one, lasted bloody 10 minutes. Bought it off the guy off the market. Serves me right. The old serves me bloody right.
Del boy.
Serves me bloody right, I'll tell you. So the future for me is low tech. It is, and how can I change the world? I can't, because I don't live in the world. I live in my world. I think we've both come to the same conclusion that if people aren't prepared to help themselves,
No.
leave them alone. It's not for us to bother about what they're up to. It's for us to say, we don't agree with what you're doing, and here's why. And if you don't like it, I don't care. I really don't care that you don't like it. It doesn't matter to me. If back to the Fight Club, if you want to fight, get up, stand up, move forward, and don't rely on other people to do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask people, do you think for yourself? And they say, yes, I do. Tell me something that you've thought that nobody else has ever told you. All goes quiet then.
Even I'm struggling with that
But it
one.
all goes quiet then, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
All goes quiet because are you a copy? Are we copies? Are we lying to ourselves? Are we decayed? Are we? You know, a decade is 10 years, put a Y in it and it spells decade. Are we getting weaker? Do you think you're weaker than your parents?
Definitely.
Do you think you're weaker than your grandparents?
Very much weaker.
I know I am.
Yeah, I know I couldn't do the things probably that they did and had
I remember,
to do.
I mean, I've said to you, I mean, I've had this new fish and chip frying range in now for 7 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. After the first 2 weeks, it was that different and that hard to actually work. It was going back out the window it came in. 3 or 4 weeks later, I was sort of getting used to it. Now I'm okay with it. And do you know what I'm disappointed about with it? It's harder. I wanted it to be easier. And then I smiled to myself and thought, that's how they win.
Because you wanted it to be easier.
Yeah.
They didn't want it to be easier.
No. But I wanted it to be easier. I also said something to somebody over the weekend that it just came out and I've never used the line before. And this lady was talking about how busy she was. And ladies often do that, don't they? They often, given the time, they'll tell you exactly how busy they are.
They've usually made a list as well.
Well, exactly. But they'll tell you exactly how busy they are. And this lady was busy doing this, that and the other. She was busy working this job, she was working that job. And I said, how much debt are you in? That didn't go very well. And yet that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
I thought, how much debt are you in? Because remember, when we don't have to work, we call it free time. So we now know that debt isn't freedom. So maybe that's a good definition we can use as well. So maybe you can't claim freedom if you're in debt. Maybe you can't claim freedom if you actually do care what people think about you. And maybe you can't claim freedom if you are not stood up on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, all of those, yeah.
So maybe it's just that the internet's done its job
And
and fooled everybody.
How far do you want to take the freedom? As that.
Well, what else is there?
Well, as the opening clip said, about being a god.
Oh, right, yeah.
Where do you take it? Where, as in what's happening around the world?
Well, it depends how big your dreams are.
In various guises of, might is right, I've got the gun, I'll shoot you.
Exactly.
Just as that says.
Yeah.
And it all revolves around a god somewhere. Or somebody's god and somebody's this and somebody's that, and it's our belief. And I've got the right to shoot you because I believe it.
Well,
this is scary freedom. That is scary freedom.
But has it ever been different?
No, it hasn't.
We just get the next version, but we don't live long enough. And we don't care about history. And we don't talk to people anymore. And if you do talk to people, they can't remember anything.
Nope.
Because I don't know if the dosage has been upped. I don't know if what anaesthetic we're subject to. I don't know what psychotic drug we're being. But this shouldn't be okay for people.
No.
It shouldn't be okay. We should be able to speak to people in a calm and rational manner, and they should be able to at least say something that goes along the lines of, I sort of think that's maybe how it is. I would like to make a better world for my kids.
Yeah.
I would like to perhaps know a little bit about what's going on. I would be happy to spend some time with a cup of coffee with you to perhaps, maybe you could help me understand a little bit about why my life is always going wrong. But we don't. We spend our lives judging others. We look and judge, and we almost become judge and jury, and woe betide anybody who does it to us. Especially if we get to know they've done it.
Yeah.
If we get to know they've judged us and decided who we are without asking, woe betide.
Yeah.
And then we do it all day.
Yeah.
Because we live in a story that's we're just a character in somebody else's big stage play.
Yes, yeah.
And the best thing about us is we're having our own little shows as well. We actually have the side shows.
Yes.
The main show's always going on, and sometimes we get onto the big stage. But we're actually a side show. And sometimes we have an audience of 2 or 3, and sometimes we have a bigger group of 4 or 5. And very few people get to speak to audiences of over 6, 7 or 8, do they?
No.
That's the side show.
Yes.
And what happens is we always play the good guy in the beginning, and we actually obviously entertain the whole show because they've complimented us by turning up. And when the show's over and they log on home, we assassinate them all, don't we? Oh, she's a mucky bitch here. I'll tell you, I've been to her house. She doesn't. Oh, have you seen the state of that? We do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
We character assassinate silent killers. But next time we see them, oh, hello, how are you? Thanks for coming around. We'll return the favour, and please come round and meet us next time. Plastic fakes. And yet we're all guilty.
We are, yeah. As we all tell lies.
Every holiday you've ever been on, you meet someone, you chat to someone, you swap addresses, you promise to keep in touch, and you get on the plane and say, no, we'll never see him again. Some people don't do that, but the majority do. The majority say, no, we won't be all that. I'm sure we won't bother.
No. We're just here for an holiday. And the big illusion they give us as well is this protesting, isn't it? And
that's just a test to see how many are pissed off.
It is, yeah. And is it what's he? Rob Bernard. He gives a good definition.
I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, he gives a good definition of the protest. But here's one I'd like to run past people. I've run it past a couple of people, and they've gone quiet when I've said it. And I don't know quite how it'd be pulled off, but this is how I think it should go. Instead of chasing around everywhere, using your money and your time, your free time, disappearing off down to London or wherever and parading, and the Occupy Wall Street was one of them, pitch your tent and all this, and instead of having people stood there laughing at you while you're doing it, while they're drinking the champagne, what about this one?
That's the bankers, you mean? The bankers were looking
the
down.
The bankers were in the balconies
and
looking down.
They were actually cheering and waving and drinking champagne.
While they Occupy Wall Street. We all have a spending power. Let's do... my thoughts are this. 1 week, we pick a week, and everybody says, right, you don't go shopping, you don't put fuel in your car,
if only.
You stop the tills running.
But we're trying to tell people what to do, and you can't do that.
No, you can't.
But you're right. I mean, these are things we could do, but we won't. We vote with our money now.
Yes, we do.
We vote with our money. That's the real vote we have. Mm-hmm. The real vote is if Coca-Cola are making record profits, we've voted. If McDonald's are making record profits, we have voted. Okay, that's how it is. Now, I know McDonald's profits are down this year, Coca-Cola's profits are down, mainly because they're brands that have been around a long time, and because old people now go to those places, young people are looking for Well, where shall we go?
Exactly, yeah.
Because we don't want to go to the same places as old people
It's going
do.
to go through a cycle.
That's right. So
I remember the Wimpy bars.
Exactly,
it was Wimpy,
yes,
Then
yes.
it was Ranch Burger.
yeah, but when you get old people
yeah.
drinking Coca-Cola,
Yes.
young people say it's not for us.
No, it's not.
It's like jeans. Old people wear jeans, where young people are saying they're for old people now, so they won't wear jeans anymore. You know, the jeans market is now saying to itself, "Oh, sugar!
Yeah, we need.
What do we do now?
What do we do now?
Old people who grew up with jeans, well, they've kept wearing them. So jeans are going out of fashion with the kids.
Yeah.
This is how it all sort of clicks together. We always can vote with our money,
Yeah.
but how much have you got left to vote with?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
And how much you got how much time have you got left to do anything with it anyway? In this money system that most people don't understand, but they think they do, the interest is never printed, which means the debt can never be repaid.
No.
It can't be repaired apart from with the monthly, the minimum payment, the credit card interest payment, can only ever be met.
And
the bankers will max governments up, so the governments max you up to pay it.
and ask yourself this: even this in this 4 years of austerity that we've had, the national debt has still gone up.
It's going to double. Look, it's taken about. I think it's taken. This is ballpark figures, but I think it's taken. In 2007, it was something like 650 million. It's doubled now.
Yeah.
So it's taken 6 or 7 years, or maybe 8 years if you want to really push it. Probably 7 to double. Okay, now the doubling doubles. So the chances are that regardless of what the economists tell you, if it's 1.3 trillion now, and that's just the bit I've told you about, by the way. There's well over 5 trillion in unfunded liabilities. This is the rape and pillage of not a village, of not your house, of a country.
Yes, it is a country. Yeah.
See it for what it is. See it for the bankers for what they are. They are the reason our children's future is less than.
Yeah.
They are the reason that I'll probably never get to retire. They are the reason that your pensions are gone. They are the reason your interest rates are gone.
Yeah.
Your pensioners can't live on these bankers are the people who punish the prudent. They punish the people who did exactly what they told them to prepare for retirement.
Yeah.
They stole it all because you'd actually done what you were meant to. And now those people are almost being vilified. We have a benefit system that actually is paying out everybody whatever they need, minimum. And the people who've saved are getting no credit at all for being good, upstanding citizens. We don't care that they've saved. We don't care that they've provided for themselves.
No.
We just expect the system to pay so we can live
What I
without
want.
consequence.
Yeah.
The safety net is going to be removed.
It is. Yeah.
It is slowly but surely going to go to an allowance-based system where you'll get what you need, but you won't get what you want.
And will it be Bitcoin?
No, it'll just be digital.
Well,
You won't have to buy anything
I
for it.
wonder if they'll adopt
It'll
Bitcoin
just-
to pay you out in.
No,
So
digital.
that you can spend it where
no,
they
it's
say
just
you've got to spend
it's
it.
just credits. No, it won't even exist except on credits. It's called digital because they'll point one
Point
at you
life,
and
yeah.
say you'll do
Do
as
as
you're
you're
bloody told.
And you'll buy this and you'll buy that and
You'll not buy this and you'll not buy that.
yeah.
You'll go here in this shop and you'll buy what we tell you. And you'll go here in this shop and buy what we tell you.
Yeah.
And the shops you'll be able to spend it in will be their friends.
Yeah.
And every other shop that isn't on their friends list won't get their customers.
And you'll have so much electric, and when you've used it up, it's
You'll be
gone.
sat in darkness.
yeah,
Yeah.
sat in the darkness. Yeah. Is that where it's going? Well, it seems
Course
to
it
be.
is.
Seems to be. that
How
it's
do you know?
going that
Because
way.
we're already on the bloody way.
we're on the brink.
Once
of it,
you're on
yeah.
the road that you know you're on, don't be surprised when you bloody get to the destination.
Yeah, because even those with so-called money are still finding it hard to pay the utility bills. There's nothing left after they've spent on the
The
necessities.
middle class have been wiped out. They're
They've been
pretending they're
wiped,
still
yeah.
rich through debt. They called it credit and made everybody stupid.
Yeah.
But we have to take our part in this. What we were doing on a small scale was enabling governments to do on a big scale.
Yeah, in peacetime.
Exactly.
piece by piece.
By bloody piece.
They've done it. Africa's pretty much done.
It's been done for years.
Libya's done, and Egypt's done, Syria's done,
Greece
Iraq's
is
done, Afghanistan's done, Spain,
Ireland's done,
Italy's done, Portugal's done.
We're done. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah, piece by piece, it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People say, when's the UK going to fall? So you it fell in the 90s.
Yeah,
the Great Depression you're looking for is your life. It says in Fight Club. The Great Depression you're looking for is you. We've got 9 million people aged between 16 and 64 who, for one reason or another, aren't working. The jobs have been shipped to China by design. The rules have been rejigged so China can make it cheaper than we ever could and sail the bloody thing all the way back. Look in your house. Everything you need is owned by somebody that isn't the UK taxpayer. The word vac is the word cow.
It is.
The word I and the word nation. Ask yourself. Ask yourself. What do we call our relatives born after us?
Descendants.
Because we're going down.
We are.
We don't have to go down because there is a version in our society that's going up.
Going up, yeah.
But our time, as we choose to describe ourselves, is over unless we change. We have to change. There is the life of taking like one occupation from when you leave school to when you finish is over. The changes come faster now, a lot faster. Before, it was a lifetime before things changed, 70, 80 years. But with improved methods of indoctrination and taking over the schools over 130, 40 years ago, people think, that they gave us education in the 1870s. This is rubbish. They took over education in the 1870s. Before then, most villages and towns were schooling their own. They never thought of asking government to do it. We did it ourselves.
Yeah.
Our town halls organised these things. We educated our own children. We taught them the things they needed to know to be successful where they lived. Now we get algebra and geography and humanities and sociology.
Psychology.
Bollocks! It's bollocks.
I think my son got a U in psychology.
Good.
He was proud of it as well. He said, "Woo, got a U in psychology."
These people are rapists. These people who take these sit-down talk therapies, they're rapists. But the rapist has to be put together and called therapist, so you can't work it out. They rape you. They ask you to share with them your most inner and most deepest and private thoughts. They ask you to share with them the voices and what they say to you. And they make you feel less than them because you do it. And then they make you pay for it. That's ridiculous. That is that's nasty. That is the very... And I can't do with them. I can't. Thank God I don't know any. I know a couple, but not very well. And luckily, they keep a good distance from me. We haven't covered any of my Facebook page, as usual. Do you think we ever will?
I mean, we're doing a roundabout way.
We did actually once try to do the news. Do you remember those days?
Oh, I do, yeah.
And it felt completely wrong to us, didn't it?
It did,
We knew doing the news was wrong. And yet everybody else was doing it. We knew trying to share how bad the world was getting wasn't making the world better.
No.
And somehow we seem to have fallen into this very critical of those that think they're making the world better. Because I don't think they're doing that at all. I think they actually are part of the needed resistance for the revolt. Because the revolt is the recharge.
It's a recharge, yeah.
You know, they are the necessary charge. They are the very reason that the puppets who dance in front of us who have always claimed are more enslaved than us, the MPs, have always claimed they're more enslaved than we are.
Yeah.
Because without that job, they are nothing. That's why they're in that job, because they are nothing. They're empty-headed, controllable.
Can do nothing.
Exactly. That's why they're in there.
Cannot contribute to society.
But they don't. They've no intention to, which is why they'll do as they're told. They are the least of our society in the most prominent and powerful positions.
Yeah.
But of course, if I wanted to bankrupt and corrupt a society, every system I built would fail, and every politician I put forward would be corrupt. So you would spend your time shouting and bawling at the system that I built for you while I got on with business.
Yeah.
And the business was, you blame my puppets for making your life worse.
Yeah.
And as long as you try and build it, I'll figure out a way of knocking it down. And everything I tell you I'm going to do, I never actually do it.
No.
But the money never gets given back, and the fall guy takes the rap. And that's how I build this world.
Yeah.
I build this world by breaking yours. Because I'm not interested in building your world. I'm interested in building mine. And the way I build mine is to break yours while pretending to fix it.
Yeah.
I say one thing and do another. So everything I do is designed to make you hope things are going to change, because I use it as my logo and slogan. And every time I give you a puppet who fails your expectations, and you're too damn stupid to see that I'm sat behind the curtain laughing my head off, keeping the money, sharing it with my corporations. The Bank of England is a private institution run for profit. It lends to not only this government but other Commonwealth governments. Its job is to enslave the people into indebted servitude. And it can't do that without getting the governments into debt they can't pay back. So they get the people into debt they can't pay back.
They're like heroin parties, aren't they?
It's junkies.
We used to have, in fact, the 1800s, they used to have opium dens, didn't they? Where the hoi polloi went to smoke their opium. And is that like an analogy of the party system that we've got now? We call them parties. Of course, you and I aren't invited, and they're having a great party at our expense. And all they're interested in is propping up that party and becoming the figurehead of that party, aren't they?
These people, you're absolutely right, are having a party at our expense. And they are apart from us.
Yes.
They are a party from us.
And they have departments.
And depart the mind, exactly.
Exactly.
And we never see the eagle in the church, do we?
No.
He stands there at his altar, and the altar is the original eagle. And we never see how we're invited to become its prey. We kneel down, put our hands together, and we're invited to pray to an invisible deity.
And hope.
Yeah. And luckily the guy who's at the eagle has got the friends and family contact number to clear up any problems that we have with the guy in the clouds. The eagle has got a left wing and a right wing. And when religion lost its control of the majority of the people, government didn't step in. Government was formed by the churches. It's the same game, just politicised. Left, right, marching all together, onward Christian soldiers. And we never saw it, because no one ever told us. But that eagle saw us, because that is the ultimate predator.
It is.
That is the ultimate predator. It flies the highest and has got the best eyesight. The owls that are Parliament are no match for the eagle. We talk a lot of rubbish, me and you, don't we?
But they hunt at night.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have different qualities.
They have to deceive.
Flew by. It does.
No, the show, not the eagle. This is not the Hotel California, it's the Hotel England, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the Eagles are still running it.
Well, you do it. You'll have to do it in another show. You do a good analogy of the hotel, and I think you should do that one week
I'm
as
sure
well.
I've done it many times before, but nobody listens to each and every one of our shows, and why should we expect them to? Because if the real truth be known, we actually do the same show every week. We just try and actually come up with different ways of talking about it, because a lot of people would listen to our shows and say, "Oh, these boys are just at the beginning. These boys don't really understand much about vaccinations, about GMOs, about how the National Death Management Service really works. They're not into the spiritual stuff, the chakras. They're not interested. We're not
chakras.
And we say we've seen all that actually. We've been all round those tents, haven't we?
Astrotheology.
We've been to all those circuses and sideshows. We've peered into them all, haven't we?
Symbiotic, I think we did.
Yeah, whatever. We've peered into them all.
Yep.
And do you know what we've concluded? That it's good entertainment.
It is.
That keeps you busy, not thinking for yourself. You're right busy not thinking for yourself. In fact, most of the time, you're busy showing off
Stop
to
following
people
and become
who
a
haven't.
leader.
Yeah, that's right. Too many people are busy showing off what they've just seen. And that's the best way to create a good customer, isn't it? You want a good customer, you tell him something he didn't know, and then say, come back next week for some more. You don't know it. You've just found a good source of information that other people don't know either. The world works like it's always worked.
It does, yeah.
It runs on information. And if it's all about climbing a mountain, which it is, it starts where we live in the sea. And we become the men who live in the sea. And the men who live in the sea try and get in to the female. And the female is the ship. She's always the ship. The seamen get into the ship and try to become captains so they can take control of the ship. To sail the ship to dry land, to fight through the jungle, to cross the streams, row the rivers, and climb the mountains. And only at the mountain climb itself, when you rest on the way up the mountain, it's a ledge.
Yeah.
You take a moment and rest on the ledge, and that's the ledge you know you're on. You never stop climbing the mountain, because the reason why you have to climb the mountain is because they're trying to flood the planet. They're always trying to flood the planet, and the only way you'll be safe is on high ground. That's the story. And that's the one that they play with, that's the one they write about, and that's in many of the songs, isn't it? Is it real? It doesn't matter if it's real, it's how the language has been put together. I should play the climb, we like that, don't we?
Yeah.
I don't know if I get to leave it in the end of the show.
No, that's... Yeah,
I'll have to take it out.
That is the problem, yeah.
You should listen. People should listen to the climb and listen to it again, and maybe work out that, do you actually hear the words in songs, or do you just sing the words in songs? Because if you just repeat what you hear and sing, you're not part of the show. You're just rehearsing. So grab your hairdryer, grab your hairbrush, get the mirror, and pretend it's you. Because it's not, and it never will be.
No.
If we look at the people who are stars in this country, how many current stars will we have shining in our galaxy? How many stars are currently shining? Well, there's a few on BBC, and there's a few on ITV, and there's some sports ones. And might it total a couple of thousand, 2,000 or 3,000 that we really are aware of?
If that, I think, yeah.
There's 64 million people in the country. There's
Just this country.
There's 64 million people, right? Don't fancy your chances, really, do you? Best to have a plan B, don't you think? For another Tuesday.
Yeah.
My name's Paul.
Mine was Andy.
And this has been the Unpenned Show for Tuesday the 19th of August 2014. The Facebook contacts, mine and yours, are below. Say hello.
Yeah.
Don't be frightened.
Nope.
We don't want anything. No
No.
books, no DVDs.
Nope.
No kisses at the end of the messages.
No,
we don't do kisses at the end of the
just
messages.
nice
If anyone sends a message with a kiss at the end, okay?
No.
I'm going to be a bit upset,
we're
all
not
right?
into smiley face things either, are we?
Hope our love lasts and never dies. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. You've got to see it for what it is.
Tell us about your fight club.
Exactly.
That'd be interesting.
I've had a couple of conversations that I'm going to perhaps talk more about next week.
Mm-hmm.
2 people at different stages this week.
In their fight club.
In their understanding or awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ready to say any more about that. If you and I didn't know each other, would things have been different for us both? Probably.
Mm.
Would we have gone slower or faster without knowing each other?
Definitely slower.
I think slower too.
Yeah, because I did cotton on to a couple of other people before yourself.
Uh-huh.
And you know those people, and I've shared those people with you.
Yep.
And where are those people now?
They didn't have the balls, did they?
They didn't out. No, we asked them to join us and come and talk.
They were too frightened.
They were, yeah.
They were too
just
that's
to
it.
even come and have a few beers.
They were full of bravado
On a
until
Tuesday
you passed
evening.
them.
Yeah.
They were full of bravado,
They were.
and I'll tell you how this works.
Yeah.
Until you passed them.
Mm-hmm. I passed
Then they didn't want to know, did
No.
No, they didn't want to know.
No.
If we've said anything that you're interested in, my Skype contact is below this YouTube video that you listen to now.
Yeah.
Catch me on Skype. Send me a message. Give us a ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of your journey too.
Mm.
And if you think you've got something to share, then you have.
Yeah. Feel free to do so.
We don't get along without sharing.
No, we don't. No. No.
You see, sharing in secrets is what causes the problems. Because sometimes we share things that are important, and sometimes we share things that are bloody lies.
Mm-hmm.
And the controllers, all they share with us is lies.
They do.
Until next week, thank you for listening.
Good night.